Hello, my name is Przemek and today I'm going to show you how to create memory matching game in Storyline 360. So I've prepared a demo of what we want to achieve. Let me show you that. So you can see this is the name of an element in Polish and I need to find a matching pair. So this is going to be this one, and then I'm looking for other. So probably this one, no, and yeah, and here I am. I found 4 out of 4 pairs, and this is the end game. So how it was built, let me switch off the camera so we can focus more on what's going on the screen. So initially we have like 8 elements here. Every element is a rectangle, and you can see I have a pairs of rectangles indicated by the number here in the name. So the first pair is A and B. Number 1, A will have a symbol of the element, and B will have a name of the element. Of course, you can swap it to an English version. So this is how it works, and for every pair I have the same 2 rectangles. So this is the base setup. Now let's have a look at variables. So I open variables. You can see that I have too many as of now. I have one that is counting number of clicks. So every time I click on the rectangle, I want to monitor that and I want to put it into a variable. So I'm incrementing that number of clicks variable that you could see here at the top with that is counting clicks. Next one is number of items or elements or pairs found, and this is another variable that can be displayed to the user, and they can see how many they already found, and it's going to be also visible on the grid. Next one is for every pair I have a Boolean variable that will track if the user already found it or not. Initially it's going to be false, but as soon as they will find a pair, it will turn into true, and it will help us to track the progress. The last one is pairs counter. So basically it's very similar to clicks, but all I want, and let me show it to you. All I want to track whenever there are 2 rectangles opened. So right now you can see that I have only one that is visible or is showing the value, and now if I'm going to click, it's going to be 2. And at that moment, at that specific moment of 2, I want to make an evaluation. I want to check if they are matching, if they are from the same pair or not. And no matter what happens, I will also return to 0, so I'll reset the counter, because now if I want to do another test, I'm also checking it's 1, and I'm clicking for the second time, it's 2, the test happens, and then some rules are applied, and then it goes back to the square one, to the I guess the initial screen. So this is how it's going to work. So as you could see, we have few triggers here on the base layer or base slide. For every rectangle, we have a trigger that is saying that we want to adjust the variable of number of clicks by adding one value whenever someone clicks on that rectangle. So super straightforward. If I click, this means that I clicked, and this should increment by 1. And that's it. The other one is that I want to add 1, so I want to add another value, so 1, to a pairs counter, so those 2 elements open at the same time, when the variable number of clicks will change. So every time I'm triggering that variable change, it will also change the pairs counter, which is convenient because I don't have to attach another trigger to every single rectangle to increment that variable as well, because they are similar, they are very similar, simply the same. Because they are very similar, very, very simple, and because those variables are very similar. So once we have the base setup here, let's see what happens when the pairs counter is incremented to number 2, which indicates that 2 rectangles are showing values. And what happens? It shows a layer of check when pairs counter changes. So it shows a layer of check when variable changes, and our variable is pair counter. And if this pair counter is equal to 2, and only then, it should show that layer, which is good. So imagine that I clicked 2, the counter for pairs increased to 2, the criteria for this trigger were met, so it shows the check. Now in the check, that we don't have any elements, visual elements here, but we have a lot of triggers. And let's start from the bottom then. So what we do here, we make a first test. We want to adjust P1, so the pair 1 variable, the Boolean variable, saying that it was found, so it was set to true, only when 1A, rectangle 1A, and 1B at the same time is in state of visited. And the state is triggered when you click on the rectangle. So if I click on 1A and 1B, it will launch. It will change the P1 to true, which is very good for us because it will memorize that this pair was already discovered, this first pair. And it happens for all the other. So you can see this is the same rule, that I'm adjusting a variable that is dedicated to pair number 2. I'm adjusting it to true when the state of 2A and 2B is visited. So this is one thing that I'm doing. The other one that I'm doing is that I'm adding a value 1 to number of items found. So this value here, a number of pairs found, when the same happens. So if the state of 1A and 1B at the same time is visited, it will change and add 1 to our initial 0 value. So it will indicate that our user already found a pair. So let's click OK. So this is what I have, and you need to attach it to every new pair that you will add to that game. So that's one. Now let's see what's happened with when the variable changes, because this is a variable trigger. So if the variable P1 will change, and we know that it will change only if we discover a pair, it will turn into true. We want to freeze the 1A and 1B rectangle into a state that is saying that it is disabled, which allows us to protect it from interacting. So user will not be able anymore to click on that, but at the same time it will be shown on the screen as a pair that was already found. So this is what we want to do. And this happens, it's triggered by this P1 change. So if a variable changes to true, saying that we discovered the pair, we want to set it into a state of disabled. And the last one is, because we don't know which one they will click, right? The user, we don't want which pair or which 2 they will click. If they will not hit the pair, what we want to do, we want to reset the whole game space. We want to put it in a state that is an initial state for the game, so they can again show 2 rectangles and just compare and see if they found a pair. So what we do, we have a lot of triggers here. So saying that we want to change a 1A to normal when the timeline ends for this one. So this is like the evaluation layer that lasts not so long. So, and you can also adjust it. So you can go with half of a second. And then at the end of that half of a second, it will turn those rectangles into normal states, which is with this bottle. And there will be no issue with starting the matching again. So this is how it might work. And you can see that I'm doing it for all the pairs here with one additional condition. The condition is that I want 1A to turn into normal as long as it was not discovered. So our P1, so dedicated variable to the P1 pair, is still in a false state or false value. So it says that we didn't, our user didn't manage to find any pair that is like from P1, or you go with P2, P3, or P4. So this is how it works. And yeah, so high level overview. Now let's maybe add something more. I'll just grab the pair. I'll just move it on the side. And now I'll just label it correctly because this is our fifth pair. So it's 5B and 5A. Now let's go to the states and then change to, I don't know, I guess we'd go with O. And I'm gonna go with O. So that's gonna be 5A and then 5B. I'm gonna say it's TLEN or oxygen. Okay, so I'm gonna just save that. So once we have that additional pair here, what we need to do, we need to play with some settings. Automatically it will add 1 when the user click on that rectangle, so we are good here, but we need to make that more sophisticated adjustments in terms of triggers. First off, let's add one variable. So I'll go with the last one, make a copy of it, rename it to P5. It's going to stay as false, so it's cool. I'll click OK. And I'll just grab everything here, group it, and just put it in the middle and ungroup it so it looks better. And now let's go to our check. So what we need to do, let's grab the last two triggers from the bottom. I'll just copy them, paste them, and then I'm going to adjust it. So let's go and adjust the first one. So I want to set the P5 variable that indicates that we found a fifth pair when the state of 5A and 5B is visited. I'll just remove 4A and B from here. So I'll click OK. And I'm going to the second trigger, and I'm going to adjust variable add value 1 to number of found when state of all. And again, I'm going to do the same, 5A, 5B. I'll remove the 4s, is visited. So we are good on this side. Let's move on. Let's copy the states or triggers for P4. I'll just grab 2, copy it, paste, and then let's have a look inside. So I want to change the state of my rectangle of 5A to disable when P5, the variable that is indicating that we already found a pair, is true. So I'm going to click OK. I'm going to do the same with 5B. Set to disabled, and then when the variable P5 changes, and we know it changes to true. There's no other direction as long as the setup. So I'll click OK, and we have the same setup for pair number 5. And the last one is we need to make sure that in case they will not find it straight away, it will reset to the initial state. So I need to do it for 5A here. Let me just show it to you. So I want to change 5A to normal when the timeline ends on this slate. If P5, so the variable dedicated to tracking if we already found the fifth pair, is false, because this means that they didn't find it. So I'll go with that, and let's go with also the second component of the pair, so 5B. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to say P5 and OK. And yeah, make sure that the last two triggers here, so resetting the pairs counter and hiding this check layer, they are at the bottom, because we want to initially change the states of everything and then just go back to the base slide. So this is important. And now probably the last changes here, we need to change to 5. And let's have a look how it works. So I'm going to go and play this slide. And I'm going to click with oxygen, so you can see it's here. Cool. And I'm going to go with like this and like this. Oh no. Like that, and like this. So I've managed to find all 5 pairs within 18 clicks. And to show you that it's not going to be always the same, so those elements or pairs will not be in the same spot, let's try to do it again. You remember the TLEN was, or oxygen was in the first column. So it's still here. I know why. Let's go back here. We need to add it because what I'm using I'm using the, let me just show you. I'm using a freeform to make a randomization on those rectangles, to shuffle them. So what I'm doing, let me show you here. I'm converting a regular slide with those elements into a freeform, and I'm selecting a pick many, and I click OK. And with this, let me go back to this, to my first slide. Let me show you how it looks. Let's go back here. So you can see it's already applied that that freeform here. So what I need to do, I need to go to Form View, and I need to add my rectangles here, the newly created one. I don't mark anything here. All I care is that my answer is gonna be shuffled. So it's here selected at the very top. And let's go back. And now let's see what's going to happen. And I will need to make sure that it will not add the selected, because this is the default state for pick many. I'll just remove that from here, from states, so it's not going to be putting any additional kind of graphics on that. And let's have a look. So now I would not expect that oxygen or clan will be in the first column. Let's have a look. It's still here. That's interesting. Let's try to replay that. And make sure that I'm here. Yeah, it's 5, it's here. Let's have a look one more time. And you can see it's still always here, but the description of the element or name of the element changed. And we can try to do it again. Hopefully the oxygen will move away from the first column. Yeah, you can see that we have totally different set here. Yeah, so basically the finishing touch would be just to remove this one because it shouldn't be visible by for our end users, and the rest can be visible. You could add timer here as well if you want, and that's it. The source file will be in the comments, and hopefully you liked it. Take care and see you next time.